Let me be clear. Members of Congress shouldn't have to kiss Elon Musk to get our offices for our constituents on Social Security open or to have them remain open. I am offended by the fact that members on the other side are using their access to Elon Musk and jeopardizing the well-being of everyone else.
This is no way to govern. In the dead of the night, congressional Republicans are passing this partisan, big, ugly bill for billionaires. Who are you here to serve? Billionaires or the constituents that elected you to bring down costs and to make life more affordable? Your constituents, like mine, rely on Medicaid and public education, veteran programs, SNAP, childcare, Head Start, Medicare. But yet Republicans claim to be for working people, and yet the meager tax relief that middle-class workers and families receive under your plan, about $1 a day, are temporary. But the tax cuts for billionaires and big corporations are permanent. That is a choice. I'm for permanent tax cuts for moms and dads, for small business owners. Who are you here to serve?
Today is the Ways and Means Committee's first hearing outside of Washington since President Trump and congressional Republicans delivered a massive tax cut to working men and women in the One Big Beautiful Bill. With their no vote on the One Big Beautiful Bill, unfortunately, every single Democrat in the U.S. Congress voted against cutting taxes to tips, against cutting taxes on overtime, against cutting taxes on Social Security. Instead, Democrats voted to raise your taxes, slash the child tax credit in half for 40 million families, and slash the standard deduction in half. Instead, it's a slap in the face to the hardworking men and women across this country and in Nevada. It's no surprise. This is the same party that spent 4 years under Joe Biden making life more expensive.
I have to say it's a shame that you're here to highlight a bill that will be so disastrous for so many Nevadans and our long-term future. Las Vegas is actually ground zero for the damage that Trump's economy is doing to workers and to families and to small businesses. From rising housing costs to falling hotel occupancy, from energy projects on pause to an impending health care cliff, the reality in Nevada tells a very different story than the one Republicans are attempting to sell. Trump-Vance administration took office. Las Vegas room rates have dropped more than 16%. We haven't seen a single month of growth in hotel occupancy since February. Mr. Chairman, this bill is selling a lie that my constituents are too savvy to buy. And that's why I want to make sure that today we are uplifting the truth. The truth is, this is not a public hearing. There aren't hundreds of people sitting here in a field hearing. We could have done this at a public location to allow public input, but instead we're here for a photo op. Well, welcome to the great city of Las Vegas. We're glad to have you, and we're going to make sure that the truth of this big, ugly bill gets told to our constituents. Does taking health care away from 16 million Americans lower prices for working families? Yes or no?
I'm not sure what that question means.
The bill, the big, beautiful bill that was passed by this committee and the majority of the Republicans in the House would eliminate health care for 16 million Americans. I'm asking, does that lower the cost for working families? Yes or no?
Again, which cost? Oil, fuel cost, food cost?
Household cost.
Sorry?
The cost that households have to cover every month. Middle-class working people.
Again, I disagree with the characterization.
So the answer is no. The bill doesn't deal with that. To the American people, I want you to hear this. Today, we are voting for transparency in government. There is only one person who's unelected and a bureaucrat who is causing havoc throughout the government. That is Elon Musk and his hackers. Now, my constituents need and want to know who accessed their sensitive data and for what purpose. I want you to know that this inquiry specifically states that within 14 days, the President provide and direct to the Department of the Treasury, to the House of Representatives, all communications related to the access to or the use of the Treasury payment system by Doge, Elon Musk, or any member of his team. It also calls for the access to or use of confidential tax returns or tax return information by Doge, Elon Musk, or a member of his team, and any screenshots taken of the data or records in the Treasury payment system by Doge, Elon Musk, or a member of his team. This is common sense. This resolution of inquiry is simple. We are doing our duty as elected members of Congress. I don't work for Elon Musk, and he wasn't elected to do anything on behalf of the American people. So I'm asking for simple information, information that should be shared with Congress. Now, to my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, I want to work with you on government efficiency. There's several of you that we are actually in those efforts involved with. I want to be able to identify ways to make government work for the working people of this country. But there's a way to do it, and this is not it. Chaos only breeds further chaos, and my constituents are scared, they're worried, they're concerned about their personal information being used by Elon Musk and his hackers. From Pahrump to Mesquite, my office has received calls from constituents concerned about their information being stolen, and they have a right to know by whom and for what purpose. Sunshine is the best disinfectant. My constituents deserve to know why an unelected bureaucrat, Elon Musk, who is the richest person in the world, and his hackers are illegally accessing tax data, Social Security information, bank information. Why do they have it, and what is the purpose? That is the purpose of this inquiry. I am defending the rights of my constituents to know what has been accessed, by whom, and for what purpose. I don't understand, for the life of me, how my colleagues on the other side would not support this resolution. I'm here to defend my constituents. That's what I was elected to do. Elon Musk, you were elected to do absolutely nothing. Get your grubby hands off of the data of the people of America and the information that they're entitled to remain confidential. With that, I yield back. So, Commissioner, since my constituents are incredibly afraid that the Trump-Vance administration may very well shut down their local Social Security field office, I want to cut through the noise and get a clear answer for them. Do you plan to close any Social Security field office, yes or no?
No.
Do you commit right here, right now, to keep all Social Security field offices open, not only in my congressional district, but in every congressional district across the country? Yes or no?
I've committed before, and I'll commit again, that if for
Yes or no?
if for some reason there
Yes
is
or no?
we might wake up one day and a field office doesn't have any traffic.
Will you? So the
what
problem.
if
so
you
the- no,
let
no.
me-
Reclaiming my time. The problem with your failure to respond to my question and answer it with a yes or no response indicates your willingness to not ensure that these services are available. And the closure of that office, or the threatened closure, was with no notification. to me or anyone else in the Nevada delegation? Do you commit to working to ensure...
What I was trying to say...
Excuse me, it's my time.
Fine.
Don't speak over me while I'm asking you questions. I don't work for you. I work for 750,000 people in Nevada. Do you commit to working to ensure that all field offices are not only fully operational, but also better staffed, more efficient, and equipped to meet the growing needs of the public? Yes or no?
I commit to they will be working excellently.
Yes
to
or
serve
no? It's a
the
very
public.
simple question, sir.
I don't know if we need more staff in any of them.
I said better staffed, more efficient, and equipped.
Yes.
In April, I led my colleagues on this committee in introducing a resolution of inquiry demanding answers about DOJ's fueled plans to shut down field offices, slash staff, and gut customer service. One such DOJ-driven policy would have eliminated the option for retirees and survivors to apply for benefits or update their direct deposit information over the phone. While SSA eventually reversed course, thanks to public outcry, beneficiaries still can't make direct deposit changes by phone. So, Commissioner, as a self-described fundamental DOJ person, do you truly believe that policies forcing nearly 1 million hours of unnecessary travel on beneficiaries are efficient? Yes or no?
I would think that would be a no.
Thank you. Finally, I am still waiting on an answer about the breach of information that affects constituents and their information, and whether that personal information, medical information, disability information by DOJ is any way being used for purposes other than they are intended. So I will look forward to having your office work with my office, and I ask for your commitment today to receive a response to that inquiry.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I yield back. Thank you, Chairman Smith, and to the ranking member. Mr. Trade Representative, are you aware that the tariffs have been paused?
I am, yes.
When were you made aware of that?
Well, I understood the decision was made a few minutes ago. It's something
Sitting
that's
here,
been under discussion.
sitting here, under discussion. So did you know that that this was under discussion, and why did you not include that as part of your opening remarks?
So typically what I don't do is divulge the contents of my discussions with
What are the
President
details of the
Congress.
pause?
Well, my understanding is that because so many countries have decided not to retaliate, we're going to have about 90 days.
No, excuse me? China increased their tariffs on the United States. Trump blinked.
What's the blink, sir?
What do you know about this pause? What are the details of it?
Well, the details, as I understand it, is that China continues to retaliate. Other countries didn't retaliate. The president 2 or 3 days ago said we wanted to negotiate with those countries that asked for meetings. That's what we're doing.
What are the
We've had
details?
discussions.
How long is the pause? How many days? How many weeks?
I understand it's 90 days. I haven't spoken to the president since I've
So
been
the
in this
trade
hearing.
representative hasn't spoken to the president of the United States about a global reordering of trade.
Yes, I have. I've
And
just
yet
been in the hearing with you, sir.
But yet he announced it on a tweet? WTF? Who's in charge?
The president of the United States is in charge.
And what do you know about those details?
Well, as I mentioned,
It looks like your boss just pulled the rug out from under you and paused the tariffs, the taxes on the American people. There's no strategy. You just found out 3 seconds ago, sitting here, we saw you.
we've been discussing a
If
variety
you
of these
came
actions
here
for a week.
knowing that you were going to be turned off, that these tariffs were going to be turned off, why didn't you include that in your opening statement? Why didn't you reference that as part of your testimony?
Well, I don't disclose my conversations with the president, sir.
These were specific questions we asked you all along. What's the strategy? These are real consequences for the American people and small businesses. I had a group of small businesses in my office earlier today talking about the impacts of these tariffs on aluminum and steel. This is amateur hour, and it needs to stop. What does this even mean for your negotiating strategy? How are you in charge of negotiation if the president is tweeting about this from wherever the hell he is?
The president was elected, and he runs the trade policy, and I advise him and execute his
Who
trade
executes
policy.
the trade policy?
I execute the trade
Did you
policy
know
for the president.
that this was happening?
We have been discussing all kinds of
And there's another
options.
member of the cabinet, Besant, who just canceled coming to the Hill to avoid talking about the market because it's in turmoil. This in just days, because there was no strategy, there was no plan. The president chose to take actions that he didn't even have the authority to take. He's put our economy in disarray and near collapse. We have small businesses and Americans who are concerned about their well-being, people's retirement, people's 529 accounts went down because of this administration. We have people that are planning to send their kids to college this fall. People who are retiring whose benefits have declined. Is this market manipulation?
No.
Why not? If it was a plan, if it was always the plan, how is this not market manipulation?
It's not market manipulation, sir.
Well, then what is it? Because it sure is not a strategy.
We're trying to reset the global trade system.
You're-
That has
and-
offshored,
and what-
offshored
and-
all of our
and
factories.
what has that
and
done?
offshored all of
How
our
have you
jobs.
done? How have you achieved any of that? But to enact enormous harm on the American people, which was our concern from the very beginning. Tariffs are a tool. It can be used in the appropriate way to protect U.S. jobs and small businesses. But that's not what this does. So if it's not market manipulation, what is it? Who's benefiting? What billionaire just got richer? And all the while, there are not even any Republicans left in this hearing. They all left because they don't even want to defend this. But meanwhile, the speaker is rushing to the floor to pass a budget reconciliation to screw America by passing the biggest tax cut in history on the backs of the American people? WTF? Who's in charge? Because it sure doesn't look like it's the trade representative. You just got the rug pulled out from under you. I wish I could feel some empathy, but the empathy I have is for the American people whose very well-being and livelihoods are being affected. This is not a game. This is real life. I yield back.
Let the record reflect that there's more Republicans in this chamber than there are Democrats currently in this committee room. There's 6 of us, there's 5 of you. So let's make sure we get the facts right. I appreciate the president did not blink on China, as was said earlier, and it needs to be corrected in the record. In fact, he increased China by 125%.
Would you
Yocum.
yield, Mr. Chairman?
I do not.
Yield? Can we have a colloquy?
No.
We don't want to talk about the trade policy here in the Trade Committee. This is our jurisdiction.
Your time has expired, and I'm more than
I asked
happy to
if you
talk
would
to you.
yield.
And I said no.
Because you don't want to defend the policy or the strategy. Kick me out. What you gonna do? Kick me out.
Mr. Yocum, you're recognized.
16 million people stand to lose health care. That's thousands of hospitals that will be affected. We're talking about jobs and families that will be impacted. Worse, we're dealing with these tariffs, which are taxes that Americans pay, which are raising the cost on medical equipment, putting further strain on rural hospitals in my district, but yet the billionaires under this plan will still get their tax break. Mr. Secretary, under the bill, who gets the most benefits? A billionaire with a complex tax return or a working parent with one W-2?
Under President Trump's first term, a greater...
Not the first term.
Well,
I'm asking under this bill.
Including this bill, in terms of percent, as opposed to absolute numbers, in terms of percent, working families will have a greater...
Well, in fact,
increase.
Mr. Secretary, every credible outside estimator says that the wealthiest win under this proposal and working people and the poor lose. They pay more. Working people pay more. That's the story of this big, beautiful bill. Help the ultra-rich and leave everyone else paying the price. Are you yourself a beneficiary of any provision in this bill? Will you personally receive a tax cut under the provisions of under this bill?
Two things, Congressman.
Yes or no? It's a
we
simple-
had a referendum on November 5th, and
Mr.
working
Secretary,
Americans
yes or
voted
no?
for President
Reclaiming
Trump.
my time.
And
Reclaiming my time, Mr. Chairman.
and two,
Mr. Chairman, I'm reclaiming my time.
and two.
So, Mr.
I-
Secretary,
I-
it's
I-
my time, Mr. Secretary. I'm
Well,
asking you a yes or no
and
question.
I'm trying to answer you, and
It's a yes or no question.
Saying it louder does not elicit an answer.
Well, not answering the question at all proves that you're evasive. Are you the head, the person that's the head of overseeing the implementation of our tax code, a beneficiary under the provisions of, any provisions of this bill?
Again, this is an extension of an existing bill.
So are you a beneficiary?
This is an extension.
Okay,
that-
I will
if you
will
wanna
take that as a
if you
no.
wanna
Mr.
rephrase the
Secretary,
question,
did the TCJA help increase the supply of housing? Yes or no?
sorry,
Did the TCJA help increase the supply of housing? Yes or no?
I don't know, and
According
I'm not sure that's
according
one
to
of
the Federal Reserve of Philadelphia, comparing the pre and post TCJA housing market, they found that between January of 2015 to October of 2019, housing construction in fact slowed under TCJA. So, Mr. Secretary, do tariffs on steel, aluminum, and lumber raise the cost of construction? Yes or no?
Again, on the housing point, the interest rates went up because the economy was stronger.
And under this proposal,
inflation was nascent.
and under a budget report that just came out from the Yale Budget Lab, they just released data showing that because of the debt that is going to be added by this big ugly bill, mortgage rates will increase. Are you aware of that?
I'm aware that
This bill is a
I'm aware that the
disaster
Inflation
for the
Reduction
people
Act,
of
which I
Nevada
would guess you
who are
voted for.
struggling with the cost of rent and the ability to afford housing. These are the pressing issues that my constituents are concerned about, and I hope that this administration understands the impact of the negative consequences of their proposal.
This administration very
I
much
yield-
understands
I yield back.
the impacts on working Americans, and that's why working Americans voted for President Trump.
Here in Las Vegas, 21% of workers make their living on tips. This city leads the nation in the share of its workers who earn tips. It only makes sense that it is also the birthplace of one of President Trump's signature tax relief ideas, no tax on tips. Waitresses, bartenders, DoorDash employees, bellhops, service workers, and other tipped employees will get a $1,300 tax cut compared to what they pay today. No tax on tips will translate to over $230 million back into the pockets of tipped workers in just the Las Vegas metro area. $230 million just in Las Vegas from that one tax provision. That's money that will be spent at local small businesses, restaurants, and stores, helping both tipped workers better their lives while simultaneously growing the Vegas economy.
On July 4th, while Americans were celebrating our independence, President Trump, flanked by congressional Republicans, signed away our economic and health freedom with the most expensive bill in U.S. history, the Big Ugly Law, all to benefit billionaires. And I refuse to stay silent about the damage that this bill will cause, especially to my constituents. The Big Ugly Law delivers a cruel blow to working families, and make no mistake, Nevada will be among the hardest hit. Despite what you'll hear today from my colleagues across the aisle, this Big Ugly Law isn't a tax cut for working families. It's a $4 trillion budget-busting giveaway to the ultra-wealthy. The top 0.1% are walking away with an average tax break of $309,000, while working families making less than $50,000 will get a mere 68 cents per day. And that's before the impact from all of the cuts that are being imposed by this bill. Republicans had an opportunity to work in a bipartisan way, to extend tax cuts for working families in a fashion that would have gotten it done without giving handouts to billionaires. They chose not to. They voted no. Instead, they've slashed nearly $1 trillion from Medicaid, put coverage for over 110,000 Nevadans at risk, cut up to $11 billion from our state's healthcare system. This will all mean impacts to our rural hospitals in places like Battle Mountain and Winnemucca that will be forced to close their doors. And as coverage disappears, healthcare cost will rise and care will suffer. But don't just take my word for it. The CEO of University Medical Center, Nevada's only public hospital, said that they're reviewing expenses line by line, scrutinizing staffing and supplies, and even utilities to prepare for what's coming as a result of this big, ugly law. The big, ugly law jeopardizes over 760,000 clean energy jobs nationally and over 8,300 jobs here in Nevada by gutting incentives from the Inflation Reduction Act. It raises costs for families by stripping away support for energy-efficient home upgrades. And it hits the backbone of our local economy, hospitality and tourism. Again, don't just take my word for it. Derek Stevens, the owner of Circa, the Golden Gate, and the D, said that the big, ugly law, quote, will impact jobs, visitation, tourism. And he's right.